Hello, everybody, and welcome to possibly episode 9 of Crumbling Keep Presents Tales from the Tower, possibly featuring Conan the Thief, perhaps part of Modiphius's Conan Adventures in Age Undreamed of.
It's definitely part.
Okay, yeah, that part's true. Modiphius did do this, and they do win awards for it. I'm James. I am possibly your GM today.
I'm Emily. I am probably not, but possibly playing Ulrika today.
I'm Justin, and I also showed up, and I usually play Ramesh, but golly, who knows what's going to happen. Are you guys filled with suspense yet?
Suspense and wonder.
I would truly like to pretend that this is some sort of marketing idea we came up with. Be like, oh, we'll confuse them up front and then really catch them off guard. But in truth, Brad, who plays Calamir, is currently on a boat out in the ocean doing cruise-type things. I'm
on a boat.
Sure, potentially wearing a loincloth and hollering as he drinks ale or something, potentially Conan-ish, maybe. Frank,
are they cool with that?
I do like that image because I know that he's on this. Isn't he on this trip with his girlfriend's parents?
Yes.
So I'm like just imagining, a nice family vacation with Brad the Barbarian in the midst of us.
Is his girlfriend also there too?
Uh-huh. Otherwise, that'd be really weird.
Just her parents. Because that makes it even better to be wearing the Conan thing. Because then it's like, well, you were gone. I asserted dominance by wearing a Conan outfit.
By Crom, the buffet ran out of shrimp early today.
Conan on a cruise ship?
Conan on a cruise ship. So what you're going to be watching is Conan on a cruise ship. So we knew that was going to happen. Frank is moving to Las Vegas and may or may not be there right now. Last we got was a garbled text about finding somewhere to hook up, and we're thinking he means his computer and not drugs or illicit sex. But hey, what do we know? It's Vegas. Am I right?
You're right.
Part of the text was in Russian.
And not the good part either.
Yeah.
Not the good part. So, that leaves just the three of us, and to be fair, this week's session was, the planning was a little, perhaps, more brutal than our faces can take on this week. It looks like we got the official death knell. Sadly, it's going to be a skip this week for me, says Frank.
No!
Alas, poor Frank. We knew him well.
We hardly knew you.
Guys.
I like that. I like that we went exactly opposite directions with that how well we knew Frank question.
Yeah.
Although I will say that now it does lend us some more time to speculate on what kind of horrible mischief Frank could be getting up to in Vegas.
Which is what we'll be spending the next 3 hours doing.
I just appreciate that we made sure to let everybody know where everybody is right now, so that if they have any sort of ire about the situation, about this not happening, they know at least where to start looking.
Right, so if you're looking for Brad, check on a boat.
On a boat, ask for his girlfriend's parents, and they'll tell you where to find him.
Is Brad's girlfriend's parents here? I'm looking for Brad. I'm sure this will work out just fine. I don't know why any of you are doubting this.
And Frank is somewhere in Las Vegas. Go get him.
Get on it.
Good luck, everybody. This is actually the first in the Crumbling Keep initiation tasks. You don't want to go down the road of what happens if you fail, so let's do it.
There can only be 5 Crumbling Keepers at any point in time, so if you take one of them out, you get to gain their spot. It's kind of like Highlander, in a sense. Less katanas, but definitely like Highlander.
Yep. Same amount of head chopping.
Definitely same amount of head chopping.
Equal amounts of lightning.
So this might actually be a good time to let's talk about carousing. So
all right,
we have a little group, Crumbling Keep Presents Tales from the Tower fan group, where we post things about this show and take care of things that don't necessarily happen on camera. So feel free to join that. And if you join that, you're going to really see everything that we're going to talk to you about. But we've been using that between our sessions of Conan, to do some carousing. And we didn't start it right away. I think we started it with episode, 3 or something.
Yeah, because we definitely, did some carousing in person. IRL carousing, I guess. IRL fake carousing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I definitely, having had that moment of trying to do carousing in the midst of the session, it makes a lot of sense why we switched to doing it kind of in between.
Yeah, it's just something, it didn't feel really right to do it during the game. And even in the book itself, it suggested, hey, you can do your carousing over... It actually suggested doing it over email. So because of this game being a public thing, we felt that a public Facebook group would be the right way to go. And I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah,
but
it explains why sometimes you're like, where do they get that stuff? When we just nonchalantly mention that we have things like armies and stuff.
Who is this alchemist? Where did this army come from? Right, yeah, these are all things that happen between the sessions in carousing. So we have had, after retrieving the Beggar King's object of fancy, so this was a while ago, when you first met Hazir. Everyone remember Hazir?
Cobra Commander.
No, that's Varesh.
No, the Beggar King.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Beggar King.
Yeah.
And both are dead.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Rest in peace. Yeah, right. It's God,
So-
it's hard to keep track of all the dead NPCs that has met unfortunate ends through their association with us.
Oh,
This is what happens
Sorry,
when you know
everybody.
us. It's a death penalty.
Yeah, that's the sweetest thing anyone's ever said about one of my games. Thank you. So, after that episode, Emily Cam says, after the successful heist of a merchant compound, Ulrika is feeling like celebrating. Shadowsar has no small number of drinking houses to choose from, but her favorite is the Copper Key. If you're a regular, you know to ask the bartender to lead you past a root cellar to a fighting ring where the city's nimblest blade slingers face off against each other. Ulrika wagers 2 gold on a slender fighter from Raja, but walks away disappointed and empty-handed when its Amorium opponent is one to draw first blood. Because there are... the general format of carousing is you kind of tell the GM what to do and how much money you want to spend on it, because, well, carousing, it costs money, right? And then there's some dice rolls that play into the result. There's also a wonderful table in Conan, and I hope that they release more of these tables, because there's only 40 options or so on it. Or maybe it's 39, to be honest. And I feel eventually we're going to run through them. So that's if Modiphius, if you're listening, make more carousing tables. But you roll on this carousing table it kind of just puts a random event at the end of your carousing, to which it added to Ulrika's first carousing there. The next day you awake feeling groggy. A slight pain affects your leg. When you pull the blankets off of it, you see a strange tattoo that starts on your shin and winds its way up your outer thigh. Upon studying it, it becomes clear. It is a staff. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
me too.
You have a big old staff tattoo? Whose side are you on?
I definitely am I do not remember getting this tattoo, and I didn't think I was that drunk.
Is Ulrika a sleeper agent?
I know, right? Double agent.
Oh! Frank is joining us out of nowhere.
I just called in. I don't have my computer.
So, Frank, we didn't mention anything about you and Russians in Vegas. So, whatever people are putting in the chat, don't listen. So, for anyone just tuning in, we apologize. We're actually we're not going to play a regular game this week. There's been a few difficulties. Brad's on a boat. Frank is... Are you in Vegas? Did you make it?
Yeah, I just got here yesterday.
Oh, right on, right on. So he just hasn't had time to set up his gear yet to do the game.
Yeah, I thought I had a jack and everything, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, so we've been talking about our carousing, which in the Conan game happens between sessions, and we've been doing it in the fan group, and there is a little link in the chat for that. So anyone watching this week, make sure you tune in next week when they go to capture Jarvis and move the story along a bit. We will get back to serious form then. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm sorry, this has never happened to me before. So also in that carousing,
to a lot of role-playing games your age.
yeah, I guess I shouldn't feel ashamed about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a totally natural thing that happens to a lot of role-playing games.
So actually, why don't I let all of you sum up what your carousing's been about so far? Because some of you have had almost little mini storylines that have happened in the carousing.
All right. Yeah. Since I appear to be the only one unmuted right now, I'll start with what I'm doing.
That works.
Yeah. Go. So Ramesh has always kind of been about making sure that everything that we do gains us notoriety and also like sets us up in a position to be in control of things. So he's been doing a lot of like palm greasing. He's been doing a lot of deals with people, a lot of like meeting with different groups of people to get them to try to work, and he's always been out finding more allies for the Thousand Hands of Fate or Fortune, which was really great until everything went to shit recently. The other thing is that Ramesh is this is all obviously out of game for those of you that are players. Ramesh is not who he says he is. He's been living under a false name because he escaped his military family because he realized that the real power was in merchant worlds, and he realized that the real people in power were the people that were selling things to the army, not the army itself. So he went out to go actually take control of things instead of being the one that takes the orders. And eventually his family was able to locate him in the city, which is why he left a couple weeks ago. That was to go confront his family and use his magical superpower of talking his way into just about anything to convince his parents, or to convince his father that helping us out in rooting out the cult of the staff in the city would actually be really good for his military career and would help him advance his military prowess further and stuff like that by being one of the heroes that came to the aid during this time. So, but in reality, now we have an army to do some of our bloody work for us, which is all I really care about. So, yeah.
Yeah, we can't kill everybody.
Yeah. But basically, I'm secretly running for mayor during my carousing stages. And long story short.
Doing pretty well with it at that.
Yeah.
Now, there has been, just to keep everyone updated, at the end of last episode, there is another army that was headed towards Shadazar. Reasons? No one really knows yet. So, we'll have to see how that plays out in the coming weeks. But, Frank, why don't you tell us about Criven's carousing?
Well, the bulk of Criven's carousing, it was like pretty early game that my character became pretty interested in alchemy. Not so much sorcery, but more alchemy. And I think it was in my first carousing. I heard a talk of the mysterious traveling alchemist who doesn't really have a shop anywhere in Shadazar, and a lot of people don't really know who he is. And A good amount of my carousing's been devoted towards finding him. I actually rolled that on some of it and had my lab get ransacked and all this stuff. And I got jacked for a bit. I did make some poison. That was nice. I plan on using that eventually. I was successful once, but for the most part, it's been about that. And then most recently, I tried to do some stuff relative to my family, because Criven's he's an assassin who was found guilty of a crime, so they pretty much branded him and like removed him from life outside the guilds. He's pretty much like guild property. And yeah, so every now and then he thinks of his family, and there was a near-death experience in one of the recent games that he went to go visit his family shops and stuff. They're just merchants and craftsmen and artists and stuff. And yeah, he went to go visit them. I got a nice little relic from my dad in the most recent carousing. That was nice. But other than that, it's mostly been seeking out dark wisdom and trying to apply said dark wisdom, and also buying arrows. Lots and lots of arrows.
So I know you've been on the road lately, so I don't know if you've had a chance to see the reply to your last carousing phase.
Yeah, I don't think I did read through the last one, like your posts.
Yeah, I kind of posted it late this week. After yelling at everyone else to do it on time, I failed all of you.
I read my part with getting my thing from my dad, the little steel rose.
Oh, yes,
but
yes.
I didn't get a chance to read everyone else's.
Oh, no, yeah, mostly yours with the, I had a good roll, with you searching for the alchemist. Mm-hmm. Every single dice turned up effects, which is basically what you need to get some solid information, so you got some actual, finally, 9 episodes in, you got some good leads on the traveling alchemist.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that. I just read it last night before bed, and I'm all whacked out on time.
Oh, I'm sure.
3 hours back, you know.
Oh, yeah, that much of a time difference, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take?
Indiana's... it was like I think it was like a 28-hour drive. But
okay.
we probably added like 2 or 3 hours, because instead of going through Denver, we cut down and we went through Aspen and Colorado Springs, which was actually pretty rad. I'd never been to Colorado before. Like, I'd never even driven through or anything.
It's a pretty place.
Except and Aspen's really cool.
Is it the Denver airport where they have that terrifying frickin' horse?
Oh, yeah, I think that's Denver International, with all the, like, there's a bunch of weird paintings and stuff.
Like, and it's in the shape of a swastika and all that crap?
Mm-hmm, and it's, like, huge. Whoa. Apparently it's, like you have to take pretty much like a max train all around it to get around it, and it's like gigantic.
If anyone hasn't seen it, just Google Denver Airport horse and click on images.
I'm afraid, but I'm gonna go for it.
It has glowing red eyes. It's this terrifying, apocalyptic-looking stallion. It's
okay. Now, what on earth?
And it's friggin' huge too.
Why?
Not to get all weird, but there's all these people who think there's like weird Freemason conspiracies regarding that airport. They like spent millions of dollars building it, and it's like absurdly huge. Like, and apparently there's all these like underground levels and stuff. Like it goes down for like stories.
Oh yeah, and all the paintings are supposed to have all the paintings have deep meaning. Mm-hmm. Or something. Yeah, and there's like an Aztec temple in the middle of it.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. What is this nonsense? I have not heard all of this.
It's the Denver airport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like looking at the images of this blue horse in the Denver airport, and they're like, obviously the glowing red eyes is pretty freaking terrifying. But then, of course, because the internet, there are like super close-ups on this giant horse sculpture asshole that's like more detailed than a horse sculpture asshole should be.
Thank you, Internet.
Wow. This is something. Thank you for
Why is the horse all
gluing me into the
veiny and
horror.
stuff?
Right?
Yeah, right?
Super weird. For anyone watching, I do have an image of it up in the chat right now, and I'm trying to center it so you can all actually maybe see it. But
Its face is all veiny. I mean, like, we have a giant statue of a dude with an axe, so I mean, like, who are we to...
yeah, but you know, Pacific Northwest lumberjacks, it seems slightly more acceptable than Satan's steed.
I'm sorry, did you all know
Apocalyptic
that
death horse on
this
your way over.
sculpture killed its creator?
Now, when you say that,
It killed its creator when a section of it fell on him at his studio.
the way you're saying this, you make it sound like it killed, as if you're assigning blame to the statue as opposed to he was crushed by. I can't help but think that's intentional.
I mean, he was crushed by it, but also, I don't trust it.
So in this episode of Tales from the Tower, instead of playing Conan, we're going to talk about the Devil Horse outside of Denver, Colorado's airport.
Should we just each pick a landmark that we think could win in a fight against this thing and, like...
Yeah, its head fell on him and severed an artery in his leg and he bled to death.
Wow.
Jeez.
That
is crazy.
pretty metal.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah. I also appreciate that it is nicknamed Blucifer.
Lucifer.
That's it. I'd say that's fitting.
We need a better musical choice for Lucifer here.
Right. Also, just because it's funny, it's Denver International, so it's DIX.
Where else but dicks?
Flying into dicks, you know.
So there's like a shopping district that's made out of like shipping containers and stuff in Old Town part of Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
That has a giant fire spewing praying mantis thing.
Yeah,
That eyes also light up and stuff. If you haven't seen it yet,
yeah, I saw that when I visited back in January.
Yeah.
My mom even
thing is,
she pulled
Okay.
over and made us wait until it blew the fire and everything.
Yeah, that could potentially win.
I didn't know what was going on when I happened to be walking by it, and then it started, and it was like, wow, what? Did not expect the giant praying mantis statue to all of a sudden start spouting fire and playing like different sounds from like a 1990s computer.
What is this thing called?
I just
don't know.
googled Las Vegas praying mantis, and here it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's made out
do
of
you
like
wanna-
sheet metal or something.
Do
Yeah,
you want to put an image in the Roll20 chat?
Sure. Find the good one.
Yeah, this is how we're gonna spend your evening, folks. I know you signed in to watch us play some RPGs. No, we're gonna talk about freaky ass real landmarks.
Yeah, I wish I had my computer and I could find some weird stuff.
So did everyone have a good free RPG day? Frank, you
Yes.
were driving.
I was driving, so it was alright, I guess. I think I was. When was free RPG day?
It was
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yay.
Yesterday. Okay. See, I was here, but I was sleeping and stuff.
I'm sure.
Mhm. I bet they probably have some pretty cool events going on in Vegas for Free RPG Day.
Huh, I wonder.
Yeah.
Now we have a flame-throwing praying mantis to compete against Blucifer
No.
in the Battle of the Landmarks.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, the flames come out of its antennas, but why? Huh.
Because someone dared to dream, I guess? I don't know.
They spend so much time wondering if they should. They never stop to think if they could. No, reverse that.
Yeah. They
Reverse
play
that.
it plays all kinds of different like sounds and stuff too. Like it's got a speaker system in it.
So, Justin, a little Roll20 note that we've never told you. down the bottom of your page, you probably have a button for location and combat dice, right?
Yeah.
Do you have one that says image too?
Yes.
Welcome to reaction gifs in Roll20, Justin.
I was just about to say, does it work for gifs?
Oh,
yes, it does.
Yes.
Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god, you guys.
Game changer.
You guys.
Game changer.
And I know what's coming.
Right now. I don't even know what to pick. There's so many now.
So, Emily,
yeah,
tell us about Ulrika's carousing. Yeah, that's what we were talking
about. So Ulrika has had a little bit of a mixture going on. You read that that initial gambling where she ended up, waking up with a tattoo she didn't remember getting. But after that, there was a little bit of trying to, as Ramesh was focusing on spreading rumors around town, Ulrika was focusing on trying to see how well those rumors were taking hold. So, because she has connections in Shadazar, both high and low, she was trying to kind of move throughout the city and just get a sense for who's on what side of this Shadazar split. How's the City Watch feeling about the Thousand Hands? How are the other guilds feeling about us? Of course, we know now that there was a betrayal involved, but definitely she spent one or two carousing sessions moving through the city for information. After the encounter in the garden, as the group was going into the slave pens, where we killed, and then Ulrika impersonated that woman in her white robes, she was really curious about, what did we just wander in on? Who was that woman? And so spent time trying to figure that out as well. And it, during that time, it sounded like it was pretty convinced that she was connected to the cult, the cult of the staff, and they all, people would only speak about her in hushed tones. And then there has been time. So one of the cool things about Conan character creation is that everyone has character creation, what's known as their background, I think it is. No, their cast. As your cast, as with your homeland and your education and whatnot, will give you certain talents. And so one of my talents is that during the carousing phase, you have to be able to pay for all that drinking and feasting and rest and relaxation. But one of my talents is that if I don't have enough gold to pay that upkeep, then I can offer my skills instead. So there have been a couple of times during this process where Ulrika has had to lay low in exchange for room and board, and in certain cases being patched up after some particularly hairy encounters. If you were with us last week, you would have heard Ulrika's flashback to the night of the blood moon when her alchemist and herbalist friend Leilena gave her some particularly potent poison that had Lady Zerbez's name on it. And Leilena came up in... Yeah. Leilena came up in my carousing also, that after... basically after the 1,000 hands and the building that we were in simultaneously collapsed, she was the one I sought out to patch me up, and in exchange I offered to sift through the pile of worthless junk and actual treasures that desperate thieves had pawned off on her over the years. And then... that being that my archetype is a relic hunter, so I make it my business to know what's actually valuable, what people in the city are going to want to shell out for. This most recent carousing, I think I even said it in the midst of our session when we're out at the vineyard and that statue slid backwards to find this room full of gold and ornamental swords, statues, etc. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to sell this stuff. So that was, carousing is typically a time where the player characters have to spend some money. It does kind of have the feel of the cyclical nature of Conan's stories, right? Conan goes out and he has some adventures, he gets some gold, he gets drunk and loses it all and starts over again. And so this was the only time in my carousing that the money I paid out to open doors around the city and grease some palms and get this merchandise in front of the right buyers actually paid off. So it's I like that carousing can be as there are suggestions in the book about some typical carousing activities, listening for rumors or starting some of your own or gambling, but that you can really think of it like just downtime in between adventures. And James was kind enough to let us get flexible with it.
Yeah, it's been fun. As I feel that the carousing chapter in the book it's a good start, and I feel like you could continue on with the same actions and activities they have in there repeatedly, but I feel like it's how many times do you want to gamble? How many times do you want to listen for rumors? It's eventually you're going to want more. You're going to want to throw more story around, right? So, So one of the other things that Emily just mentioned was her flashback to the night of the blood moon. And with the exclusion of Ramesh, whose flashback, he didn't have so much a flashback as he did a slight reveal about his past. But yeah, we've been having flashbacks with each of the characters to the night of the blood moon, and that was explained a bit in our pre-episodes, one of our session zeros, where we were using Microscope to create this. But what was the night of the blood moon?
Oh.
that night.
Mm-hmm. Hell of a night.
Well, I was the one that originally pitched it in Microscope back in the day. So I kind of pictured it as like normally amongst Thieves Guild. Thieves Guilds are kind of like drow cities in Dungeons and Dragons to me, in the sense that like they'll literally kill each other and stuff like that. But as long as you can't get caught, as you don't get caught, and there's no way to like trace it back to you, even if it's pretty obvious that you guys did it, then people are just like, all right, respect, and you get what you get away with what's done. And the Night of the Blood Moon was kind of like one of those things where everything was just off the table and everyone was just like overtly murdering each other in the streets with like zero consequence. It was like a Thieves Guild purge night kind of deal.
Seems very apt to the way I view it too. Yeah, that's a really good description.
That's
Justin.
funny. I was about to say the same thing, calling it the purge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
was
free-for-all.
like, look, Thieves Guilds, we may be shady, but we have our own internal rules. And the Night of the Blood Moon was a night when all those were most definitely off.
Yeah. Like normally it's like, if you're gonna kill someone, stab them in the back. That way they don't see it, but this time it was like, stab them in the face.
Yeah.
Kill them in the street, kill them in front of
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed my flashback where I got my knife and I totally just shot that dude in the back and stole it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That was cold.
Yeah, I wanted to play off the thiefiness, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You all have like definitely been playing off the thiefiness in your flashbacks, between like stabbing allies in the back and getting poison for also allies. The Thousand Hands aren't the cold of the staff, but they're not the good guys either. That's
Yeah. I'm worried that we're gonna approach all games we play after this as though like with Thousand Hands logic.
So if we kill this guy and throw him in a dumpster,
Then
Yeah.
totally get away with it.
Guys,
And
you're
we're
supposed
like,
to
whoa,
superheroes.
we're playing Tales from the Loop here. You're a bunch of kids. And they're like, all right, so let's knock this guy unconscious and throw him in a dumpster. I get it. Nobody dies in this game.
Yeah, we don't poison the principal then. Ugh.
God. How boring.
So this whole campaign started with the premise that... So, as we were saying, we used Microscope to kind of create our background for this. And there is one Tessel Gan entering the inner sanctum of a temple of Set. A temple of Mitra contracted half a dozen guilds to steal the Staff of Wonders from the temple of Set, but without telling them that other guilds were contracted, which is kind of like a big no-no, right? So you have a bunch of people going for this thing all at once. No one else knows that they have competitors. And plus the temple Set, well, it's a temple Set. If anyone's done anything Conan-ish, you know Set isn't great. And there's snakes and things go bad. But the staff disappeared after that, the staff that they were supposed to get. We later found out that Urquhart got it. But that's what started the Night of the Blood Moon. After all the deaths in the temple and everything that happened in there, that's what started the war between the guilds. And before then, I feel like it was very much like Justin said. Do what you want, don't get caught. Don't be overt about it, Keep it in the shadows. But the Night of the Blood Moon was definitely not in the shadows. And then it was soon after that I guess there was a guild called the Shadow Breakers that has since disbanded.
I was originally a Shadow Breaker, if I recall correctly.
That is correct. Urquhart was also originally a Shadow Breaker, so you have perhaps the most personal relationship with Urquhart than anyone else, and that's
I wonder wonder if that's why I got and ended up waking up with that tattoo. Somebody was trying to send me a message about, like, we still have our eye on you.
Yeah, maybe you and I should talk about the history of the Shadow Breakers at some point.
Yeah.
With you and Urquhart involved. But some of the Shadow Breakers had been breaking the Thieves Guild, which, other than the Night of the Blood Moon, that's a huge no-no. And then there was the Night of the Void, where many major members of the Shadow Breakers were assassinated for just that. So it was almost like a second round of purging, but more focused. The Night of Blood Moon was just on everyone. The Night of the Void was very Shadowbreaker oriented, and I feel like that's what really... The Shadowbreakers didn't break up then, but I feel like that was the beginning of the end for them, before they splintered off into a bunch of different guilds, some of which went into the Thousand Hands of Fortune. And if anyone watched our giveaway episode, there was the Night of 1,000 Deaths that happened then, as almost all of the Thousand Hands of Fortune were massacred. Anyone want to relive that trauma, or?
Oh, you mean when we were going to find out something after the party?
Oh, how'd that go? Did that go okay?
Not great.
No?
Not great. No.
But why? What happened?
Oh, man.
All right, where to start? I guess it's all started out with the idol. We were looking for this strange idol actually in the first session. It was the body of a man with a head, or with a hand for a head, and it was just like a little idol that it was actually hidden in the stomach of one of the acolytes, and Criven actually cut him open and yanked it out. And then it's funny, it actually kind of went away for a minute, and we didn't really talk about it for a while until the party.
I hinted like once or twice at like, oh yeah, eventually there's going to be a big reveal to the guild. That's happening in a few weeks. Like, I'd mention it in passing, but I'd make sure to not like dwell on it too long, because I didn't want you all thinking about it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, you sneaky sneaker.
I know, right?
Speaking of, if you're not listening to Crumbling Keep Presents The Isles of Samceris, there's some real good sneaky sneakerson on there too. So that's our podcast that you can find on iTunes and your favorite podcast app. Crumbling Keep Presents The Isles of Samceris. But go on, I beseech you.
Well, anyways, we found that hand, and then after like a couple rounds of other successful missions, the Thousand Hands threw like a big party to kind of like celebrate our recent successes. We kind of like absorbed some other guilds and made peace with other powerful groups within the city, like Hazir, who's like a self-proclaimed king of thieves in the city of Shadowzar.
Really good. You were doing like things were really looking up for 1,000 Hands. You were doing great.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was almost kind of like a little wary. I was like, this is too easy, you know? Like, we're just killing everybody, and everybody's our friends. Like, but anyways, we were throwing this party, and actually, each of us were approached by NPCs as part of the giveaway. Each of us were approached by an NPC who was offering us, you know, some kind of grand mission or information or something after the party. And as things started going at the party, someone decided to present the idol, and as soon as he did, it was like casting all this crazy magic on all of us, and it was causing people to like go insane and mutilate each other, and, you know, just lose their minds just in general, you know. And luckily, we were all able to overcome it, the madness anyway. And and then the hand, it like summoned these weird, like supernatural bat monster things that we started fighting, and then everyone kind of started lumping together like a big Akira-style monster, and like the guy holding the idol just pretty much became a blob of faces and arms and legs and all sorts of weird places. And it eventually pretty much knocked down knocked down some braziers and stuff and caused a huge fire. And it pretty much burnt down the whole place. And luckily, Kalinir was able to pretty much save everybody, like Gort and Makar and Drina, who are a couple of slaves we saved from a wine merchant's estate. And yeah, we all barely made it out alive. Especially Draw to Madness and
Like a moth to the flame, he was almost kind of sucked down into this strange, maddening scenario. So yeah, that party could have gone better.
That sounds ridiculous.
Oh, that's Justin.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's
Was not
right.
there
You
for
weren't
that.
there.
He
Wow.
missed
And
the most
then
absurd
James was like,
episode.
Don't
sorry I cut out
tell
there.
don't tell Justin what went on. We created like a secret chat. You know, we have our little group chat for this
Yeah.
game, and we created a secret one without Justin in it for the week following this
Just so we can discuss
nonsense
those events.
party.
Wait, when did I cut out? Did Justin miss everything?
No, he got it. You were there
okay.
like right to the end, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So you were mentioning like these bat monsters and this big fleshy monster up front, but earlier on you mentioned madness. So, I mean, how sure are you that you actually saw those things?
Ooh.
It's a good question.
That is a good question.
So, next week, we are going to get back on target and back on task. There is going to be probably at least 50% weird monuments than we discussed this week, maybe. And the group will be stealing into that self-same Temple of Set, where they have tracked down
shit.
Jarvis. Someone lay it on me real quick. Who's Jarvis, and why do you need him?
Jarvis was one of the 3 leaders of the Guild of Whispers. Am I right?
You're right.
And he was, when Urquat, left the Guild of Whispers and then came back all changed by the Staff of Wonders, having formed this new cult. I believe that Jarvis actually left and went to join Urquat in the cult.
It seemed under some sort of hypnotic spell almost, though. That should be...
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And Urquat was actually wielding the staff at that time when he came in.
It should also be noted the new Urquat, not the old Urquat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Urquat...
There's definitely some questions in Ulrika's mind, and I think others as well, about, like, who is this Urquat, and what is, what can we trust when it comes to him? Because we've seen his, what we believe to be animated corpse, so we're like, this guy's dead, but then people are, like, definitely saying that he's still alive and still active.
So the Urquat that you originally saw, the Urquat that happened in the Microscope games before the staff showed its face, that Urquat, I think we described like something along the lines of Brock Lesnar if he ate too many tacos, like really red-faced, sweaty, but like a really solid brick shithouse. Man, I don't know why. I just feel like, that motherfucker looks mean, But anyway, like a high blood pressure having Brock Lesnar, that's was how I imagined Urquat. when he disappeared for a while. No one knew where he went. He just kind of disappeared. That's when the Council of Three took over his guild. He came back into the picture. He was leading the cult of the Staff Bearer. He had this staff, the staff that everyone was after in the very beginning of the game, and he was like real slim and trim and like really healthy looking when he came back.
Peaceful, even.
Yeah,
like
peaceful.
Brock Lesnar got his shit together.
Because Urquhart before was like always in a rage, always mad, you know. But the Urquhart they found, who was basically flayed and staked to a wall, looked like that old Brock Lesnar. So there's a few questions there. Which, who knows? Maybe we'll answer some of those next week.
Right.
So, yeah. I think we're going to call it a night. But before we do, I have a little extra time tonight.
Can I ask something?
Yeah,
really quick. Is everyone happy with their titles, or do I need to switch up anyone's titles?
Ooh, yeah, the titles.
I like mine.
We talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I was gonna say, please.
Okay. Because the Fortunate Four.
We are definitely fortunate to have gotten out of that alive. So that works very well. Nicely done.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just I'm glad everyone's happy with them then.
We are the Fortunate Four, and then within that we each also got our own title. Ulrika was christened the Seeker of Damned Souls.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Criven of the Silent Death.
Criven, and then Calamir, the Vengeful Hand of Ishtar, who's not here tonight. And then I'm the Demon King Ramesh, which I yelled at that guy last session.
That really stuck. You yelled at him.
Yeah, you gotta keep that.
Yep.
Like you yelled at him right before he gutted himself to escape your wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, when a nickname can do that to somebody, you really got to roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, I'm blah, 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 and I've killed like 100 guys or something.
Yeah, he had a name to him, too, and he used his name as a threatening attack, and you're like, nah.
I'm going to use my own name as a counter-threaten attack.
One of the other loose ends we have up in the air right now is Gort.
Oh, yeah. Gort.
I believe Gort survived.
Me
personally.
too.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in Gort.
Yeah.
And I
do
get
too.
buttons made that say I believe in Gort.
Gort 2020.
Oh my god.
Hashtag
If we have a t-shirt
never
for this
forget
season,
Gort.
That's what it's going to be. I believe in Gort.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Gort.
Yep.
Gort, never forget.
Yep.
And I don't want to really go into it here because I think the reveal will be too good. But Justin, I like your ideas you shared with me about Gort.
Yay!
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, since I have a little extra time in my evening tonight, since I'm not going to be running Conan for the next 2 hours, if I were to watch a sword and sorcery movie tonight, what should it be?
A sword and sorcery movie.
Like, right now, I'm kind of tending toward Beastmaster, that travesty.
Okay. What was the like do you want classic sword and sorcery or
Most likely. I mean, I could be convinced otherwise.
because if you have it, I recommend The Forbidden Kingdom.
The Forbidden Kingdom?
Which,
I don't know if I'm familiar
The
with
Forbidden
this.
Kingdom is that movie that stars Jet Li and Jackie Chan, and it's it came out in like 2008 or something like that, but it's got that classic 1980s like kid from the city gets sent back in time / space somewhere to a place that he's a fish out of water in, and then like he learns throughout the thing that like it's better, and a bunch of other things happen, and he's the chosen one that fixes the kingdom. / what hot princess, that kind of thing. So in the sense of sword and sorcery, in that sense, I recommend the Forbidden Kingdom. But if you're looking for a more Conan-esque,
Oh,
The only ones that come to mind for me are Conan and Willow.
Oh my god, Willow. Willow is so
Willow.
good.
if you can find the MST3K episode of The Magic Sword,
That sounds excellent. James,
that
this
was
is
really excellent.
the Forbidden Kingdom does sound excellent in that, like, this little blurb. While rummaging around for bootleg kung fu DVDs in a pawn shop in Boston's Chinatown, Jason discovers an ancient golden staff. When he examines the staff closely, he finds himself magically transported back to ancient China, where he is quested to free the fabled warrior, the Monkey King.
Yeah, see?
Oh, that's
Tell me that's not legit in a sword and sorcery-esque type thing.
Yeah, that's totally, like,
Yeah.
the plot of every 80s
Yep.
sword and sorcery movie.
That might be hard to beat. Aaron suggested Willow, but I'm sorry, Aaron. I might have to go with this hot mess that they're describing.
Yeah.
That's funny she said Willow. I can't read the chat. That was the
So-
first thing that popped up for me.
Before we go, I just want to thank, as always, Roll20. We didn't really get to use you much tonight, but if nothing else, your little macros allowed me to throw some great GIFs up and some weird monument pictures. Modiphius, thank you for playing the game we just spent an hour talking about. Sirenscape, thank for the background music as we looked at terrifying horse monuments out of Denver, Colorado. If you want to play any of these games, or you'd like to sound a microscope that we talked about, scroll down the episode description. You can get some links there to buy said books. You can follow us on Facebook.com/CrumblingKeep, on Twitter @CrumblingKeep, find us on the web, CrumblingKeep.com, and also be sure to listen to our D&D Actual Play podcast, Crumbling Keep Presents The Isles of Samsaris. And if you really enjoyed yourself and want to tip us for this little interlude episode, paypal.me/CrumblingKeep. Or if you want to keep giving us money for better things, patreon.com/CrumblingKeep. I think I've said Crumbling Keep enough for one night. Anyone got anything else?
No.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for tuning
Good
in.
night, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week for the real deal.
Yep.
Right.